Okay, so what I'd like to do now is walk you through a complete scenario where your salesperson would share a piece of your collateral out in the field with a potential prospect or customer, and we're going to walk through the process of how FatStax will take that interaction and log it into Marketo and eventually as an activity under a contact in Salesforce.com. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back out of my introduction here on FatStax, have FatStax open here on my iPad. I'm going to go ahead and reset that to the catalog view and the branding view, and I'm going to call up a brochure to share with a customer. In this case, it's going to be the FatStax data sheet. So what I'd like to do now is show you how to send that brochure to a customer. I'm going to tap email this page. That's going to bring up a contact screen. In this case, I'm going to use a prospect that's already in my system, Bob the prospect. I'm going to tap on Bob's name as FatStax reaches down into my contacts and finds his information, and you'll see it fill in here on my iPad screen. I'm going to go ahead and add Bob to a campaign, and I'm going to send the brochure to him from my iPad. What you're going to see come up is a fully branded email here in FatStax, including that brochure that I want to send out and a link to download that brochure. I'm going to go ahead and hit send here, and Bob's contact information will be automatically captured in the FatStax content management system. Next, I'm going to log into the FatStax backend, which is called FatStax. And within FatStax, I'm going to open up leads and refresh so you can see this lead, Bob the prospect, coming into the system from FatStax and then being connected over to Marketo by the FatStax content management system. And if I was to click on this lead that came into the content management system, what I would see is exactly what I entered on my iPad: names, emails, company, phone number, as well as a description of the collateral that I sent out to the customer. So now that we've captured the lead here in FatStax, what's going to happen is this backend is going to automatically talk to Marketo and push this lead over to a program within Marketo. So next I'm going to open up Marketo. I'm going to go into my marketing activities, and I'm going to select a program that I've called FatStax App to Lead. This program is designed to capture these leads coming in from my iPad out of the field. So in order to show you that, I'm going to click into this program and then down onto Demo List, which is a smart list that I created to show the leads coming in from my iPads out in the field. I'm going to click View Campaign Members here, and as Marketo loads this, what you'll see is that lead that I just sent Bob there, Bob the prospect, coming in from my iPad with the lead source as FatStax app, and we now know that this is a new lead within the system. Then I'm going to go back to my program, click on that campaign, and next I'm going to show you the flow steps that you can add to Marketo to push this lead over to Salesforce.com. And we'll walk through the flow steps very quickly. The first one we're going to do is we're going to change lead source to FatStax app when someone fills out something on their iPad. We're going to change status and progression to a member so that we capture that person's name as we go through. We're going to sync that lead over to Salesforce.com and again assign a user here. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and assign this to myself and then create a task. And creating a task will log this activity that I took out in the field on my iPad underneath a contact in Salesforce.com. So I like to give that a subject line, something like collateral sent from my iPad. I can also bring in things like the actual products and data that I sent out there from my iPad, as well as any notes that I took about that interaction out in the field. I'm going to go ahead and log this in Salesforce as a completed task through Marketo. So the next step is to log into Salesforce.com and open up the contact detail for Bob the prospect. Now that I'm in Bob's contact detail, I can hover over Activity History to see activities logged directly from iPads in the field into Bob's activity in Salesforce.com. And if I were to click on that, I could come into that task that's already been completed because I did it on my iPad and see that on this date, I sent Bob the prospect a brochure called FatStax Data Sheet. Now your sales team doesn't have to even know Marketo exists. So they may be only looking in Salesforce. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that they're able to capture leads and what they sent them directly through Marketo and into Salesforce.com, either as a lead or as a contact. You as the marketer, however, may want to go back and do some nurturing of these prospects before you push them into Salesforce. So you will have visibility through Marketo into the leads that your Salesforce is creating out in the field and the brochures that you created that they are interested in.